Our most anticipated show of the year is finally here, and we're completely divided with it. One of us is all in, and the other is seriously disappointed. Is Born Again the Daredevil we've been waiting for, or did Marvel drop the ball? Let's dive right into it. In this video, we are going to talk about spoilers. So, in particular, if you haven't seen episode one yet of Daredevil Born Again, quickly, please go watch it, then come back to the video because there are just some things we're going to talk about that we don't want to spoil it for you because we wouldn't want to spoil it for us. And just diving right into the opening sequences, we fucking called it. We fucking called this scene to almost perfectly with Foggy's death. But I gotta say, it wasn't good. There are so many things that I didn't like about this scene. And starting off, I don't know why this scene bugged me so much, but I wish there was just more introduction to this where like we got a full episode of Foggy then ending with this. So we're at least made a little bit it made it hit home a little bit more. I know we saw like the three seasons prior, but the way the show started was very sudden with very little introduction. It kind of felt like Captain America Brave New World in that way, whereas there was no real reason why, especially with how there was nothing about this in Hawkeye, Echo, and so the end of Daredevil season three is the most recent thing we have to go off of. And with that ending and how we get here, there's a huge disconnect that I don't really know how the pieces really connect. So it kind of felt a little bit weird. And this episode definitely had more CGI than the previous Daredevil seasons, and it you could definitely tell, at least I did, it looked really weird, especially when Matt was zipping up to the building to like his first suit up scene and he's going up the building just to get that wow factor from the audience. When he grabbed the building, slid down, then we get actual Charlie Cox instead of CGI. The CGI there just wasn't quite right. And I didn't like the way Foggy died. I do agree Bullseye had to be the one to do it. He couldn't have killed Karen. It had to be Foggy because Foggy's the one that Matt cares the most about, and that's the one Matt would kill for. And that leads to my next point. Matt intentionally tried to kill Bullseye, which I support, but failed. And I think that is such a mistake by the writers. He should have absolutely killed him. And I don't buy that Matt couldn't have killed him. Because, I mean, in season one of Daredevil, because this is a continuation, this is not a reboot, this is an absolute continuation, even though at some points may not feel like it. Matt pushed a guy off of a several story roof into a dumpster and did it with such finesse that none of the guy's limbs hit anything but the garbage in the dumpster to cushion his landing, and yet he couldn't kill Bullseye by pushing him off a roof onto complete concrete.
Well, and let me put the glasses on. And if at any point you guys think I'm being an asshole with the glasses and you guys aren't a fan of the glasses, please let me know so I just don't sit here with my damn Daredevil glasses. Because as Charlie Cox has stated, these things are hard to wear. All you see is 100% red. But let me defend that part. So we've all seen Daredevil season 3, which is just brilliant. At the end of one of the end credit scenes, it's Poindexter going through this surgery. Sound off in the comments if you guys know who the doctor was in the in the procedure. They don't say it because at the time they couldn't. There's a connection now between Wolverine and Daredevil. It's adamantium. If you zoom in when he hits the ground, because first of all, when he throws him, and he threw him. This wasn't like, oh, because I was worried about that. I was like, is it going to be intentional, or is it going to be like, oh, I went too far and I just like punched him to death, that sort of thing. No, throws him off that roof. When he lands, you could hear that smack like,
Mm-hmm.
because even Karen like doesn't know if it's Matt or whoever he was fighting. I was like, he's 100% dead, but then I was like, that shit that they fixed on his spine, which was adamantium. Um, was it just in his spine? Was it? You could see it on his face. You could see it in his skull. Which I'll hear me out because I know where Griff's going. So which also doesn't make any fucking sense because Wolverine is because of his healing. I hear you. I hear you because Wolverine because of his healing factor. And let's just say that somehow Poindexter survived the surgical procedure of having adamantium laced in his skeleton. He still shouldn't be able to. I don't know unless
Well,
they
then we should have
injected
had
him with.
like again
I
previous
know.
scenes that taken the time to confirm he had adamantium in him instead of alluded to it. They should have had scenes with him recovering and
Well,
talking about this.
maybe they're just hoping for you guys to, you know, clearly if you haven't seen because there's the showrunners and the producers are like, oh no, if you've never seen any of the other Daredevil stuff, this is totally fine. It's
No,
clearly
fuck
not.
no.
If you haven't seen season one, two, and three, and even Defenders, it's gonna be hard for you to know who the hell. It's gonna be hard for
You
you to
can't
care
watch
about
this. It's
Foggy. Like for
unwatchable
me,
otherwise.
because I'm so invested in the world, because I've seen season one, season two, which I fucking love, Defenders, and season three. And because I'm so my t-shirt, man. Look at my tattoo. Because I'm
You
so
really
invested in
held
this
up the
world.
wrong arm.
Because I'm telling you, because of the red. Because I'm so invested in this world. When we knew, Griffin and I
I mean,
talked
yeah,
about this
Foggy's death
months ago.
still hurt. It just wasn't as good as it should have been.
I don't know how they could have made it better though.
They needed more introduction to it because it was sudden. I get it was supposed to be sudden, but it was still felt very disconnected, and it felt like they only brought him back just for this one scene. And
I
I
that
that
we don't know that.
sucks. We don't know that for sure, but it kind of sucks.
And I'm not saying he's going to be resurrected. I'm just saying
No, he may be
flashbacks,
in
more dis.
flashbacks. Who knows?
Maybe we're going to get more disposition as Griff's talking about,
True.
which would be great because I love Eldon. I finally got
Oh
his
yeah.
name. He fucking
I'm
dies.
proud of you. You finally got his
Force.
name.
After the dude dies on screen, now I get his name because I've been calling him the Mighty Duck guy for years. But we knew it was gonna be Bullseye.
Yeah.
Um, I don't necessarily like the fact that he came on. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like the actor or his portrayal.
The acting in this shit was
I just
fine.
who he called to get Foggy's attention. I thought it was gonna be what was her name? The hot blonde chick with the
Joe's
giant
not
boobs?
Josie. Yeah,
No, not
Marcy.
Josie. Jesus Christ,
Marcy.
not Josie. Marcy.
Yeah.
Not whoever the fuck he called, because that's who'd have been on the phone with.
Not to mention, since
Um,
they had a client that he was then targeting to get them, they could have had like 20 minutes about that to start off with of like Foggy trying to defend his client, stashing him, and then you have this scene.
thus far, I don't like Bullseye surviving. Then I get it as someone who's of faith and who has certain convictions. I understand Matt saying, "Well, but I did it. I didn't succeed, but I tried." But
You
it's
should
kind of
have
like
succeeded.
it's been a year. It's like you didn't actually kill the dude. You should let it go. He's being punished. Now, I still think Bullseye fucking dies because,
If that's how
and
they
this is
bring in the
just,
Punisher, I'm gonna be frustrated though. If they
that's
bring
how
in
they bring in
Punisher
the.
to kill off Bullseye, that's I'm gonna be so
No,
frustrated
no,
with that.
I'm not saying that Frank's gonna kill Bullseye, but I am 100%. There is in all of the little trailers that just he goes to even in the latest one, he goes to Frank, and Frank tells him, um, "I don't think you came here for my help, man. I think you came here for permission. You want to
Mhm.
hurt somebody." I don't know who the hell else they could be talking about other than Bullseye. Um, I like the
Mute,
suit.
but
I don't think Matt's gonna. I mean, unless he kills what his new girlfriend, which even at that, would he be as attached to her as Karen or Foggy?
no, not even close.
I liked it. I had the privilege and opportunity to watch this before, and usually, as if you guys have been in the channel for any length of time, you know that Griffin usually watches things before I do because of work and life and whatever. Um, and it was a surprise on Friday. I
You
got invited
motherfucker.
and I almost didn't even check the email. So I went and I saw it. And this for me, this is the second time watching it. I didn't spoil a single thing for Griffin or to anyone else that I know. I swear. I didn't say, and a lot of my friends were like, dude, just spoil it for me. I'm like, you gotta wait till Tuesday, bro.
Yep.
I liked it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. For me, it does feel like a continuation because a lot of people have asked me. They're like, "Hey, man, is it a reboot? Is it a continuation?" Griffin, we always shit the shit a little bit before, and he says that to him it feels more like a reboot than a continuation. Um,
maybe not a reboot, but more like a standalone. Like it definitely it is connected. It's in the same world 100%, but it's the first scene is the only part that's connected to previous Daredevil scenes, and then more so afterwards, it just feels like it's connected more to Hawkeye than it is to anything else. And I
I
feel
don't
like
feel
that
that. I don't feel that at all. And I know it's just a show and stuff like, but not seeing Foggy or just seeing Foggy later on in just flashbacks, it hurts. He is Matt's best friend, and even he says it in it. I know since we're talking about spoilers, Griff says it feels like a courtroom drama, which essentially that's what Born Again was going to be when it was just going to be a full-on reboot, and they shot he feels like maybe just the first 8 or 9 minutes are what they reshot. I
at
want
the
to kind of
moment,
have
but I
hope
hope
against
not.
that.
But right now,
No,
it's what it
no
seems
one will be
like.
more pissed than I will. Trust
Yeah,
me. Um, but I will miss Foggy. I think Eldon played him. I don't think, and only two people have played Foggy, to Kevin Favreau and Eldon. But I just think that what Eldon was able to do over the course of, I don't know, the last 15, 12 or 13 years, I believe that these two guys were college roommates and that they just became the best of fucking friends in the world. I think Matt and Karen just need a bone. I just think that the fact that when they're like in at the very beginning of the episode, they're like, she's like, should we just get out of here? I don't know, Matt, what the fuck Matt is thinking.
especially when Foggy's hooking up with the DA.
Yeah, just
Matt's
go
left for
be with
less.
Karen, dude. Yeah, a lot less. Without Electra, Karen should be the love of Matt's life. She's sane, she's not psychopath. I It just makes sense. And then so like later on, like after Poindexter's trial, Karen's like the whole right after Foggy's death, you didn't pick up the phone, so now I'm not gonna pick up the phone. Just grow the fuck up and bone. Those two need to. I'm telling you, professional expert opinion. When two people have that much sexual attention and love for one another, they need to stop with the bullshit. Speaking from the heart here, and they just need to bone. Trust me. The action is there. I did like the fight scenes. I can't say that it's as good as it was on the Netflix show because again, we're only 2 episodes in. Let's see a little bit more because remember, if I am sounding like I'm bitching and complaining, out of the two nerd doctors, I'm the one that
I'm the one
is
bitching and
defending
complaining
this
right
shit.
now.
I'm the one that liked the show. I could see where some of the writing falls apart for Griff. I could see that. It's not, but again, it's episode. Trust me, no
Yeah.
one's gonna be more upset if this show sucks than I am. But right now, I can't say that. I like the action. I like seeing these characters again. Fisk to me doesn't seem like Fisk from Hawkeye. I saw a fucking
He doesn't feel like Fisk from any project we've seen so far.
he does to me, man.
Dang, I don't know what it is
Especially
with me, but it doesn't
and,
feel
and
good.
especially I'll tell you what. So like
Fuck, I lied. He did have
his
a moment in episode 2 that did click for me. He did, but
the first scene where he comes out and he puts on his suit and he starts like fucking like he's got arthritis. He's like twitching. I'm like he can't even he's so fucking messed up in his head. He can't even stay. Like it's like he's uncomfortable in his own skin. I like that. And I also like the fact that when anyone tries to talk down to him, you could immediately see in his eyes. I'm always just afraid he's gonna fucking snap someone's neck. Because again, remember, and they do even say this in the show. This is a guy who crushed a fucking dude's head with a car door. And just because we haven't seen him do anything crazy doesn't mean he's not going to. We all
you're
know
right.
that someone that it's just his demeanor when someone's like, remember the commissioner?
Hmm.
Hand to God, I thought he was gonna fucking chokehold him right there
That was the
at the
scene I
podcast.
liked, though. I did like him interacting with the commissioner.
I thought he was gonna chokehold his ass.
Yeah,
I
and
thought
then
he was gonna because Kingpin can't. He does have anger issues.
yeah,
They're season 3 when Karen's like, I killed what's his name. I thought she was gonna die.
yeah.
First time I saw that, I was like, he's gonna fucking because he killed Ben Urich. Remember, he lost
Hmm.
his mind. He was like, you went to my mother, Mr. Urich, and you fucking choked him out. When Karen was like, yeah, so I killed your buddy. How did it feel? It was me. And he does get up and start screaming. I thought he was gonna kill her. Had Foggy not walked in there, he she was
Oh,
dead.
probably.
Oh, so
Moving.
here, remember the sandwich scene?
Yeah, that was great. That was a scene that clicked for me. I liked that one.
I thought he was gonna tell his new Wesley.
Yeah.
It's fucking Wesley. It's Wesley 2.0. I thought he was gonna be like, if at any point, and I'm convinced of this, Wilson Fisk tells anyone, shut the door, whoever's inside with him is fucking dead.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill him.
I do agree with a lot of what Edward said there, but I do still have a lot of issues with him. I guess one of the things is like the dialogue between him and Matt in the diner. I wasn't a huge fan of, and one thing I didn't
I
really,
did.
one thing, look, I guess one thing that I don't know didn't really make much sense to me is, and this was like even confirmed in the Daredevil series that even though Kingpin is a big dude, it's mostly muscle, like 90% muscle. We've seen him crack stone tables. You're not gonna do that if it's all fat. He's built with so much muscle. But then the dialogue here kind of contradicts that as Matt's saying
Oh,
that
because
you
Matt doesn't know that.
still, but he should also know that muscle weighs more than fat. There's
Yeah,
just
but it's just it's two dudes taking. Have you ever seen
but
Heat?
I mean
Because
actually
this proves my point.
but I disagree
Have you
though
ever
because I
seen
feel
Heat the
like
movie?
yes,
You remember that scene and it's at a fucking coffee shop. Robert De Niro and Al Pacino,
yeah.
they go shoot the shit with each other. But really, it's just two dudes like
Well, I
letting the other one know what's gonna. And that's how I took this one. So it's
that to a sense I do like, but I also think that Kingpin beats the fuck out of Matt. There's no way that Matt's thinking, yeah, I just got beat up by this fat guy. He knows that he's made of muscle and he's strong as hell.
I know,
It's
but
it's
that's
it's
the point
they're
I'm trying
shooting
to
the
prove.
shit. You're right. I
Matt knows that, but when he's like, your step seems a bit lighter. It's two dudes. It's kind of like when Kingpin's like, oh, so you've come up in the world. You
yeah.
know, and then he brings up his friend and shit like
I do
that.
think I am nitpicky because I had such high expectations for it, especially after
Have
the
you ever
trailers.
and due to what I do for a living,
Yeah.
this is more akin to what I do, but
You do it just to get under their
it's
skin.
exactly, but
Yeah.
without trying to be too much of an asshole. You
Yeah.
know, and even Matt was like when he says things like, "I'll be there," and you know, and Matt knows firsthand that Fisk can stand up and slam his hand on that fucking table like he did in prison. And this time he's not handcuffed to anything. So Matt knows if this guy wanted to, he'd throw me through the fucking window of this diner.
Yeah.
And by the time I got up on my feet, he'd be on me just, you know, it would be, he knows he's not just some fat dude. But to
That's
say
true.
things like that is just, and I did enjoy it because the fact that they're laughing at one
True.
another. It's more of like a nervous laugh than oh what he said was funny to me and shit
Yeah.
like that. But to see those two dudes, it's funny. I can see these two guys sit face to face from each other and do that, have that kind of banter. But when I've seen it from Batman and the Joker, I don't like it.
No.
I don't like
I don't think
fucking
it's there.
Batman laughing.
I don't know.
It
Here,
doesn't.
I think they're gonna try to get Kingpin and Daredevil to work together for against Muse or against something. We'll kind of see how it goes. One thing I did like though is Wilson Fisk seeing the giant pothole and filling it. That's something I did like, especially just with real world. I thought that was really well done, just because that's such a huge issue. But one thing I didn't like that's pretty real world, is that they kind of just made Kingpin's campaign just kind of be Trump's campaign. And I wasn't a huge fan of that, as I would think Kingpin's a bit
Well,
more.
I don't think I don't think that's what they meant because they
I
started
don't.
shooting like
Well, no,
before
because
all of
like
this, but
no,
it
Trump ran in
coincides. It happens.
2016. It was definitely intentional. But I do think it's
No,
like
no. Oh, I thought you meant his latest campaign.
not just in general. Like he seems very much like, how the fuck did this guy get elected? Kingpin.
Okay, so
Both answer
I
my
have to.
question, but
Griffin and I talked about this. We don't get political. We're not going to give you guys our thoughts on anything big or anything like that, whether we're pro or anti. That's if you guys want to talk about that, that's fine. But it's just it's funny because for better for worse, regardless of what you think of the guy, I told Griff I was like he was convicted of crimes which, admittedly, so I can sit here and tell you most of us were kind of BS charges anyway. But how he's elected. And so then I was telling Griffin because we've all seen Daredevil season one, two, and three,
Yeah.
and so we, the and we've read comics, and yes, it is a run from the comics, Mayor Fisk and stuff like that. But I was telling Griff, I was like, how the hell would a guy like him get elected? And then, funny enough, I think it was like the week after it was that Trump had won by like a giant margin, and we were like, well,
There's our
there you go.
answer. Yeah. I do
So
wish
it's
though,
funny.
yeah, I do wish though that because it was really weird that in the same episode that he announced that he was running for mayor, he also won that election. I do wish they waited for him to win to like mid-season so we actually got to see him campaign because I feel like that would have been a lot of fun to see is watching Fisk campaign and then win over those voters. I feel like that would have been really fun to see because I mean, I'm still unclear how much time passed in the first episode. Yes, we have the 1 year time jump, but then after that time jump, how much passed from then to the end of the episode? I'm a little fuzzy how many months
Probably not that
passed.
much.
I don't know, like because you have to like announce that you're running for office a certain
Well,
amount of months ahead of
she said
winning.
that his first 100 days are crucial, so
Well, that's
not that
100
much
days
time
that
has
you.
passed.
Well, is that 100 days after you win the election? I'm talking about like the campaigning part. How long was that?
Probably the
That's
1 year that.
Did he announce he's running
that
for mayor before or after the time skip? It was after the time skip.
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. One thing I think actually one of my biggest issues with this is some of the new characters they introduced I don't like at all. In particular, the new cops they introduced. That would have been so much better if it was Mahomes. If it was Detective Mahomes, that would have been 10 times better. And it felt like it kind of should have been because they just have this random guy find out that Matt's Daredevil instead of someone that we've seen for the 3 seasons that knows Matt, at least
We
that we've
still
seen
may
on
get him
screen.
though.
True, but I wish that was Mahomes there because I don't. There wasn't as much at stake for him finding out versus someone that they've known since childhood. I I kind of just wish that was a thing. I feel like the writing is just not where I wanted it, and I don't know if it's just because I'm being too critical. I'm very much aware I'm more than likely the minority here, and that's completely fine. But I feel like it's just the writing should have been better, and I don't know if they're relying too much on the Daredevil name, but I don't know how well this will hold up, especially as more of the show goes on. I just found episode one a bit boring, and I think episode two was a little bit better. But overall, it's just I'm pretty dissatisfied with the show.
I am the larger, more hardcore Daredevil fan, so I am a little biased with it. But if it was shit, I would tell you.
Yeah. Oh, I absolutely
I
believe you.
don't I don't think it's 100% great because again, I love Daredevil and I could tell you the movie's shit. The movie sucks. It's horrible. There's one good thing about that entire movie, and well, there's two good things. But I enjoyed it. It hit home for a lot of reasons. Griff's my best friend, so if that happened, I'm not saying I would turn vigilante and kill the dude off the roof, but it just would hurt. Someone that you spend those guys they spend far more time than Griffin and I have. But they went to college together, and it's just I could. Griffin and I talked about it last week. We both agreed that Matt wouldn't have killed for Karen because yeah, Karen he is sexually attracted to her. He probably there is some love there, but he wouldn't kill for her. Foggy is like his brother. It's like probably the only family that he has outside of his mom,
More
aka
reason Bullseye
spoilers. We
should have
haven't seen
died.
season three. Oh yeah, no, I trust me. There's that I'm pissed about. Like when I saw him open his eyes, I was like, fuck. Because it invalidates Matt breaking his rule. And I was excited for Matt to finally take that step, not because I wanted to see him kill someone, but because I was like, my argument with Batman is Batman's rule is kind of like BS because he's like, I don't kill anybody. He fucking leaves this trail of like, and with Matt, it's more because of his faith.
It'd be good
That's
character
why Matt
progression.
Yeah, that's why Matt won't do that. But the one thing that would push him to do that would be the murder of his friend. And when he hears, because he can't see, he hears Foggy, you know, give his last breath, and then also Bullseye laugh at him, he throws him off that fucking roof, which is
Yeah.
exactly what I think any one of us would have done. because he mocked it. It's not so much that Foggy died;
Yeah.
it's how he died, and then the fact that this crazy bastard laughs at that. That's what drove him over the edge. And then when I saw him wake, I was like, "Fuck
I
that."
do I do have a question then for you because I'm completely unsure of it because it was kind of weird how they did it. In episode 2, the very end with the cops, the first cop he dropped sounded like he broke his neck. Was that just me?
I think that was just
Okay. Because that one sounded like he died, but if it didn't break his neck, he's probably fine. Just to me, it's just the way it looked. That's what I thought. But
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
if
now
he
that
ends
you
up
mention, I
killing the
hope he's not.
cop, yeah, if he ends up killing a cop and not Daredevil, I'm gonna be that's stupid.
As with anything, this will be my hope every episode. Next week's episode is better. Um, Sadly, I have to kind of end this on a sad note. And for me, this is probably why the death in the beginning of the episode hit home because of everything that Foggy means to Matt Murdock. But we sadly lost a friend last week, and it was someone who was one of our first subscribers. She's been a great help to us in the channel. She's supported us from day one. And sadly on Monday I was given the news and it was horrible. I'm not going to go into detail out of respect for her, but she was somebody that Griffin and I both knew, and that when Griff says for the length of time that I've known her, it still always just escapes my mind. But anyway, she sadly passed away on Monday. So seeing these scenes, and also on top of everything else, because forgive me for rambling on, but it's kind of hard to get out. She was a big fan of Daredevil, a
Yeah,
giant fan of Daredevil, and
yeah, she was.
her favorite character probably ever was Electra Nachos, and so she will be sorely, sorely missed. And I just wanted to end that with just in memory of her.
Yeah, she's been a big supporter of us. I know even before we even started the channel, when we were still in the talking phase of this, she was someone who was supportive of it, and I almost every single video she commented on, and it was always fun to see. And I liked the communication that she always started in the conversation. She was always fun to talk to. She will certainly be missed.